There are 23 federal agents assigned to find you. You know this because you read the internal memos. You've been inside their network for 11 months. You watched them get closed 3 times. Each time, you were already gone. They have a code name for you. You know that too. This is how you got here. You're 14, cheap laptop, too much time, somewhere in suburban Ohio. Not a movie hacker, no dark room, no dramatic music. Just a kid who gets bored fast and thinks every system is built badly. You start with your school's network, default admin credentials on the router. Admin, admin, you're in. You don't change anything, you just look. That feeling, being somewhere you're not supposed to be, while someone sits 10 feet away with no idea, that feeling becomes the whole thing. You spend the next 3 years learning the actual language, not just how to run tools someone else built, the actual mechanics, how TCP IP handshakes work, how memory gets allocated and what happens when it doesn't, how a SQL query can be weaponized with a single apostrophe, how social engineering beats technical security almost every single time because humans are the vulnerability that never gets patched. You practice on CTF challenges first, capture the flag competitions where hacking is the point. You get good fast. Then you move to systems that didn't invite you. Small ones, low stakes. You never get caught. Not luck, discipline. You're 17. Someone on a forum contacts you. Encrypted message. Wants a penetration test. Corporate network. 200 employees. Healthcare sector. They want to know if their data is safe. They have not gone through legal channels to ask you this. $600. You get in through a phishing email, crafted to look like an internal IT notice. One employee clicks. You have their credentials in 40 seconds. From there, you move laterally to the network, using their own admin tools against them. You're reading patient records within 3 hours. You document everything, send the report. Never hear from them again. The $600 hit a Monero wallet. You do 11 more that year. Each one teaches you something the forums couldn't. Real networks have legacy systems that should have been retired a decade ago. Real networks have contractors with admin access and terrible passwords. Real networks have somebody's personal laptop plugged into the corporate switch because IT hasn't noticed yet. The gap between what security teams think they have and what they actually have is where you live. By 18, you're making more than your father in crypto, untraceable. You tell yourself you're basically doing them a favor. That distinction holds for about 2 more years. You're 20, contact through a signal channel that gets deleted after the conversation. A group, no names, no face, no country of origin confirmed. They need persistent access to a corporate network, not smash and grab, long term, silent, months. Data exfiltration at a rate that doesn't trigger anomaly detection. $40,000 for a 3-month operation. You spend the first 2 weeks on reconnaissance only. OSINT, LinkedIn, job postings. A company's job listings tell you exactly what software they run, if you know how to read them. You identified 3 entry points. You chose the cleanest one, a third-party vendor with access to your systems and significantly worse security. Always attack the weakest link in the chain, never the fortress directly. You establish persistence through a scheduled task disguised as a Windows update process. You communicate outbound only, never inbound. Inbound traffic triggers alerts. Outbound looks like normal browsing. You exfiltrate in small packets, compressed, encrypted, timed to coincide with peak business hours when traffic volume masks the anomaly. 94 days inside, R&D files, board communications, acquisition targets. You never trigger a single alert. When you leave, you run a cleanup script that overwrites your tools, your logs, your presence. The security team still has no idea you were there. You feel something after that job. Not guilt, more like realizing there was no line at all, and you walk through it, and there is no way back through it. You're 22. You no longer exist. Your daily machine runs Tails OS, boots from a USB drive, leaves no trace on the hardware. Every session starts clean. Every session ends clean. Your traffic routes through Tor, then through a rented VPS in a jurisdiction with no mutual legal assistance treaty with the United States, then through a second VPN you pay for with crypto, then to your target. 7 hops minimum between you and anything real. You never connect from home. Home doesn't exist in any formal sense. You rotate between short-term rentals, cash, fake name, plausible story. Every 4 months you move. You keep a Faraday bag for your phones. You keep 2 phones. One for the life that doesn't exist on paper, one for the cover identity that does. You never carry both at the same time. The clients are different now. Not corporations, governments. Not the kind that sends you a contract. The kind that sends you a wallet address and a target package and never contact you again. You don't ask who they are. You stopped wanting to know. The money is $2.3 million spread across 60 wallets on 4 different chains. You can't spend it. Spending it means existing. Existing means getting found. So the number goes up. And you sit in rented rooms. And you do the work. And you tell yourself this is freedom. You're 24. You make your first mistake in 7 years. A timing correlation attack. A network analyst at Booz Allen Hamilton notices that a series of outbound packets to a CDN shows a 40 millisecond latency anomaly that doesn't match the CDN's known infrastructure. She flags it. It sits in a queue for 3 weeks. Then a contractor at the NSA pulls it. Then a phone call gets made. Then a file gets opened. You find out 4 months later. Routine check of an FBI field office network you've had intermittent access to for 2 years. You find the file. Codename Nightjar. 23 agents. 2 Five Eyes partners. Dedicated task force. Forensic accounting team tracking crypto flows. A behavioral profile built from operational patterns across 11 countries. They are wrong about your location, wrong about your nationality, right about your methodology in ways that make you cold. You read everything they have, then you delete your access, scrub the path, go dark for 8 weeks. No jobs, no activity, no network presence at all. You watch them spin from a distance. When you come back, you rebuild everything. New infrastructure, new methods, new entry vectors. You change the 40 millisecond problem. You're still ahead, but for the first time, you can feel the distance shrinking. You're 26. They've gotten better. Not smarter necessarily, more patient. They're not trying to catch you in the act anymore. They're trying to map the shape of you, the pattern of your operations, the gaps between jobs, the way you clean up, the specific tools you write yourself that keep appearing in forensic images across 4 continents. 3 times in 8 months, you've had to burn infrastructure mid-operation, walk away from weeks of work. One of your former contacts got arrested in Rotterdam. He doesn't know your real name. He doesn't know your face. But he knows a wallet address that can be worked backwards through enough blockchain analysis to narrow a geographic radius. You're spending more time on defense than offense, more time scrubbing than building. The money stopped meaning anything 2 years ago. What's left is the problem of staying ahead of people whose only job is to find you. You think about stopping. You've thought about stopping for 3 years. Here's what nobody tells you. The tradecraft that keeps you free is also why you can't stop. Because stopping requires trusting that every trace you've left is clean enough. And you know better than anyone that nothing is ever completely clean. There is no version of this that ends with you walking away. You understood that the moment you walked through that door at 20. You just didn't admit it until now. You're 27. Tuesday. Apartment in a city I won't name. You're running your standard morning check, perimeter monitoring scripts across your infrastructure, checking for anomalies, unexpected connections, anything passive. You find something. A monitoring script installed on a machine you air gapped 8 months ago. Passive, silent, no outbound traffic. Just watching, logging keystrokes, waiting. Installed by someone who got in through a supply chain compromise on hardware you never thought could point back to you. They found a vector you didn't know existed, and they've been sitting on it for 3 months. You close the laptop. You sit in the dark. You think about the 14-year-old who typed admin into a school router and felt something click into place, who told himself he'd never get caught because he was careful. Careful and invisible are not the same thing. You knew that. You built your whole life around knowing that. You just thought careful was enough. Outside the window, the street looks normal. Same sounds, same light. Somewhere in a building you cannot see, a phone is ringing. Someone is picking it up. Someone is saying, "We've got a location." You already know what your next move is. You prepared for this moment for years. 3 passports, 4 countries, one exit route that nobody knows about. Whether it's enough, that's the only question left. And the answer to that question is already in a room you haven't walked into yet.